Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Closers brought to you by Man Cave Sports. I am the man, the myth, the legend. I am the DA here. As with me, as always, James Koulidianos. James, what is happening?
Not a whole hell of a lot. I am not a man, a myth, I'm a man, not a myth, not a legend. I'm just me. But I'm glad you are.
I'm stealing your line. That's why I'm always referring to you as now. I'm stealing it from me. How is you're up in New York? How is New York right now? What's the weather like up there? Because down here it's tough. It's like sunny and like 76. It's a little tough right now.
Crack cold over here.
Woo! Football weather cold.
Football weather cold, man. It is not fun right now. But listen, that's what happens when you're in the Northeast. It's going to have your hot summers and your cold winters.
Yes. Is this like Jets weather, or like what is Jets weather? Is this Jets weather?
Jets weather is what OJ's dealing with right now. That's
right?
hell.
Just living in hell for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I can't wait till I move to Arizona. I told everybody the other day, as soon as I move to Arizona, I'm a Cardinals. I'm done with the Jets. I'll stick with the Mets. I'll stick with the Knicks. I'll stick with the Rangers. But the Jets, I'm done.
I don't know if you want to do that. The thing about everything looks better from a sports standpoint. Like it looks better from afar, but it's not any better. The problem with being down here is everybody then kind of takes a step back from sports. So you become a little ambivalent. Like you don't really care as much. So like to be a Cardinals fan, I'm not a Cardinals fan, by the way. I'm a Broncos fan. So Bo Nix, you're the man. Broncos country. Let's ride, Bo Nix. You're like, you're like, they're losing. Okay. Like the Diamondbacks like went to the World Series and had a very good team this year. Obviously not great, but good team. You're just like, cool. People are like, you want Diamondbacks tickets? You're like, no, I'm good. Like, you want to go to a game? They've got a $230 season ticket package. $230, by the way. No, we're good.
Add a zero and you might be able to get like a snow cone at Citi Field.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, and it's a fine stadium. It's good. It's not in the best. It's downtown. Like no one lives downtown. Everyone has to like travel to the game.
Well, David, let me ask you this though. When we talk about the Cardinals, will the Cardinals ever reach the lows that the Jets do consistently?
They do. The problem is they don't have the expectation of the highs. So you don't see.
We don't have any highs. We've never had any highs. The only highs we have is when
every year you have optimism. Cardinals fans don't really have the optimism. So you're kind of like, okay, they're 500. All right.
It's fake optimism. We're stupid.
Well, yeah, it's still optimism though. Like fake or not, it's still optimism. Okay. Let me say this. Honestly, what was the last really good Jets team where like, dude, like win or lose, man, I'm riding with this team. Good job.
The Rex Ryan years.
Okay,
let me just ask you this.
Was it because of his foot stuff? Like,
no,
was that what you turned you on about it?
It's because they were actually good for a little while. But let me just ask you this. Have the Cardinals made a Super Bowl in our lifetime?
Yes.
Have the Jets? No. Not one.
I don't think so.
No, they haven't won a Super Bowl since Namath, and they haven't been to one since Namath.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
So the lows are way lower.
Yeah. At least during the Super Bowl when they were playing, who were they playing with? It was the Steelers.
Yeah.
Down in Tucson. I don't know if you knew this. Down in Tucson, the local, I don't know if it's Fox or NBC. I don't want to put a name on it. I think it was Fox. They actually started playing porn right at the end of the game. During the game, there was a huge reception. I think it was by the Steelers, like to basically kind of win the game. Mm-hmm. And during that reception, or it might have been the Cardinals to like tie it or go ahead, and then the Steelers ended up winning. Like during the running, like he catches the ball and like Fitzgerald's like running down the field. They went to a porn scene for like 20 seconds, and it was like, but luckily it wasn't like full on action. It was like the setup of it. And it was like, what? Like I know those guys. Like I know them better than the football players.
Well, they see, but that's the difference. The Cardinals will show people getting screwed. The Jets just screw you. Repeat it.
At least they follow through with it.
Yeah,
Just follow through with it. They get the job done.
but they don't use lube.
They don't use lube, but here's the thing. We're going to bring this to the Juan Soto. We're going to talk about like screwing people without lube with Juan Soto deal. There is going to be a lot of upset, unfinished teams out there. There will be one lucky winner of the Juan Soto, whatever you want to call it.
Sweepstakes.
His bat. One lucky winner, and whoever that is will hopefully be using lube when they have to pay that contract. Juan Soto is obviously on free agent market. We've been talking about him forever. Everybody is talking about him. There are a couple teams that are pulling away, and kind of it's known. The Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers are always like in the mix. The Blue Jays, the Red Sox. James, is there another team that you see that is actually going to jump in on this, or are these the real teams that are actually in on it?
It seems, and from all the reports, that these are the teams. I'm still shocked that the Orioles haven't made a play. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, I'm amazed too. That one is very surprising to me because it seems to make sense.
Yeah, it just makes all the sense in the world. But I think it's going to be one of the 5 teams that you mentioned. All the reports are saying that the Toronto Blue Jays will not be topped. And they have to do that because Juan Soto's mom, I don't know if you're aware, she's a tax expert. And every time a player goes north of the border, they always talk about the taxes, the taxes, the taxes. So guess what? They're going to have to go above and beyond if they're going to make that big of a difference in Juan Soto's mom's mind.
I can't, and right now I'm trying to pull up, see if there's anything different. I imagine Ontario, which is the province of Toronto, and Canada's taxes can't be a whole crazy lot different than like California or New York.
Higher.
It's higher, but I can't imagine it's that much crazy difference, especially from those two places.
I think it's like 5%.
It'd be interesting. I'd love to break that down. I'm sure there are people that have gone onto X or somewhere and broken that down. Reddit, please. So if you follow those people, if you see that, please send that our way. Throw that in the comments. I'd love to see what that breakdown is, what the difference is. But they have to overpay. And at the same time, I think when you're looking at it and you know who your competition is, right? So it's a unique market last year with Ohtani. Incredibly unique market. There's only a couple places he's going to go. There's some cities out there that are just screaming for him, and he's screaming for them back and saying, okay, like I've limited myself. Aaron Judge did the same kind of thing, limited himself. Plus there was the injury concerns, and people like there was only a couple teams out there that very, very few. With Juan Soto, it's got interesting because in all reality, there really haven't been any teams out there that's like you're just like no. Like, the only reason that we've said no to teams are financially they're not going to put up the money, which is unique because normally it's like, well, that doesn't make sense, or no, that the team doesn't work or whatever. Now it's like, no, they just can't afford them. But there's a lot of teams in baseball now, and this is why I think the Juan Soto deal is going to be constantly money numbers are going to keep going higher. And this is the one reason I think it is, not necessarily because of his talent. We know the talent. We know the talent is going to provide $500 million worth of value. The reason this thing's exceeding to 600, there's some reports saying 750 out there, is the Dodgers. And the Dodgers came out and said very openly that Ohtani, well, they haven't said it specifically, but there's reports and everything. There's enough chatter. The Ohtani deal to them is like nothing.
Yeah,
because
they made all the
money back, right? They've made so much money. They've already won the World Series. They've all the playoff, all the marketing to Japan. I mean, there's so many different avenues that they're angling here, and he's probably the most marketable base player in baseball, even though he doesn't really speak English. It's amazing. But they made so much money. They're like, yeah, it was a great deal. And so every team now is looking at going, oh, like – what he did with the Yankees this year, what Juan Soto did with the Yankees this year, bringing them back into true upper level tier baseball team relevance, added the number 2 with the dynamic with him and Judge. And then just the energy, the excitement, the smile on his face basically every single day. Every team's going like, that needs to be on the side of my stadium, on the side of every billboard out there and marketing and putting our team logo on that. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's why this money is going up? Or do you think it's like Scott Boras just being an incredible agent, or do you think it's just the teams and it's Steve Cohen and then it's the entire country of Canada, like basically kind of going at it, and then you get Steinbrenner in the back corner saying, "Don't forget about us," type of thing.
It's because you have all of the big market teams are in it. So when you have all the big market teams, they're all going to be fighting against each other. And you have stubborn guys like Steve Cohen is be like, I'm not going to be outbid. Forget that. Then you have Scott Boras. Whenever you have Scott Boras as the agent, you know that the guy who is the client is going to take the most money. He's not going to leave any money on the table. And then here's the big one that nobody talks about. You know who the biggest problem with this whole thing is? John Heyman.
That he completely screws all of us over by reporting the wrong thing, then reporting the right thing, then the wrong thing.
No, he's reporting what Scott Boras tells him to report.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Let's call it what it is. John Heyman has Scott Boras in his back pocket, or actually Boras has John Heyman in his back pocket, tells him exactly what he wants to get out there. So a team like the Mets, for example, when John Heyman is reporting that Toronto's not going to be overbid, Steve Cohen is saying, the hell they're not, because I'm going to do it bigger. And all of a sudden, 50 million here, 50 million there, all of a sudden went from 600 to 750 potentially. It's not going to go that high, by the way. I don't think it's touching 700, but it's going to go high because you have that reporter who's out there and telling everybody, oh, this is what's going on with the Red Sox. So the Yankees are freaking out. They're like, oh my God, the Red Sox might get him. Let's pony up some more dough. We can't let him go to the Red Sox, to our arch rival.
And this is a rare time in a rare position with the youth of a player, where it truly, again, I don't know if I'm looking at a roster across Major League Baseball and saying that doesn't fit. There's no place there for him. I mean, like
he's the
San Diego, right? Like, just because it just didn't work out well, but I could see them probably making a bid for him anyways.
But San Diego was actually in negotiations to get him a long-term deal, and then the owner died. So San Diego, they could have had him if it wasn't for, just bad timing.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's the crazy thing is that across the league, I'm like, I don't know if there's a team that would sit there and say, I'm not going to put a bid out there. Like, I can imagine 30 teams at least knocking on the door. Maybe, there's some realistic teams with the Rays, or you're sitting there looking at,
Oakland or
Oakland. Well, not even Oakland. You can't say Oakland anymore. Sacramento. Yeah. By the way, it really screwed me up on Fangraphs, and where it doesn't say Oakland anymore. It just says ATH, and I'm like,
Athletics. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, what team? I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I don't like that they don't have SAC. They should have SAC. They're Sacramento. Again, whatever they want to go off, they just got called. They can't just be, they should probably just call themselves the baseball team, the athletic baseball team. Just go for it. Just own it. Maybe change your logo to the Redskins logo. Just go for it.
How about you make Prince's logo with a baseball bat in it, and they can be the team formerly known as the Athletics?
That right here, copyright, trademark that, whatever you got to do. That's actually awesome. What is your predictor right now with Juan Soto? What is your number? What's your team? I know we've talked about it before, but has anything changed in your thought process?
No, I still think $650 million to the Mets.
To the Mets. Again, and this is I love this. This is what John Heyman, I mean, all the reporter, every journalist always does this when they're talking about baseball, and they're like, here are the 6 teams, and there's one mystery team, and you're like, shut up. Just shut up. That saves your ass when you say, oh, there's a mystery team out there. Oh, we don't know who it is, but somebody is contacting Boras. And you're like,
you know what I want?
You know what? There's 24 mystery teams apparently, because you only listed 6 teams.
I want Juan Soto badly to go on Instagram or something like that and just be like, I've decided to take my talents to South Beach, and just be like, no, I'm just messing with you. I'm going to Toronto. Screw United States.
So I'm going to say this. Obviously, I don't think the Dodgers are as real players as some of the other teams. I think at some point their dollars and cents are going to, someone's got to sit there, and I think this we'll talk about this in another episode. I think I want to talk about how like debt and major league teams and like taking on these contracts and deferring them constantly, how that's going to catch up. And I think Major League Baseball is going to probably make a rule at some point. I think they have to step forward from an owner standpoint, say we like the contracts, guys, but there has to be something about the amount of defer money you can put, like versus rostered money. I think there should be something there. Anyways, I don't think they're as big of a player as like the Mets, the Yankees, Blue Jays, Red Sox. But I do think the Nats are playing in this. I think the Nationals have something in this. They have a young core, and they were all brought in by trading Juan Soto. They've got this good young core. They might like to gamble a little bit, but they've got a great young core, and that's a place he knows, place he loved. He won a World Series there. There's so much, like, I guarantee you there was a pressure from ownership and management saying we have an opportunity to bring our boy back, and the money makes sense. And we have no money on the books. Basically, they've got nothing, and it's all young core. Like, all right, let's start with this. I don't know if Juan Soto would do it just based on like, okay, do you really see the core players becoming World Series champions? Because if I'm looking at them, I'm looking right down the street, a couple blocks away, basically, and going to Baltimore and going, well, that's the champion. That's the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Right there. And if their numbers are even close, I'm going right to Baltimore. I'm going to get the same fan base-ish. Yeah. Like the same people that were rooting for me down the road are probably going to root for me here. There's not that much. There's disdain, but there's not hatred between those two. They're going to root for their boy, especially if he's coming right back. So, like, and again, it's like no one's talking about Baltimore. Like, you talk about this, like, let's just throw the whole AL East in there. They should all be in there minus the Rays, and say
the Rays can decide to build a stadium or sign Soto.
Right, that's their choice, and they might go with Soto. They might choose Soto over a stadium.
I don't know. A stadium might be cheaper,
right?
But you know, it's funny. I heard an interesting rumor the other day that there's actually some talk that Soto's going to get a massive signing bonus up front, a lot of money. That is a rumor that I heard, which, think about it though. Who was the smart guy who said maybe someone will give him a lot of money up front and then an opt-out so that the end is cheaper and he gets a lot of money up front and maybe he can get a second contract?
Do we do signing bonuses?
Listen, the way now things have gone,
I don't think you can do a signing bonus on a major league contract.
Why not?
Has anybody done it?
Well, no, but precedent hasn't been set. They can
No, I don't think precedent matters on that. I think it's just financial money. That's just because that money then goes, like, where do the money go as far as the collective bargaining agreements, all that stuff. I imagine if
I don't.
So you're telling me that the Dodgers haven't figured that one out yet? The Dodgers will have already been doing it forever, and the Rays might have been. I mean, anyways. Do you think the pressure, do you think the money, if he signs for $700 million, does that create a giant pressure on him to perform where he's never had to have that pressure of the money before, and he just had the pressure of just being young and the trades and just playing baseball?
Okay, so I don't think that he's going to put any added pressure on himself. I think he knows exactly what he is. I think he's steady. The one thing that we've seen from Juan Soto is not a lot of highs, not a lot of lows. I'm going to take my walks. I'm going to hit when I can and do what I got to do. However, you look at that money, and now the fans are expecting a lot. And I was thinking about this the other day. What kind of numbers do Juan Soto have to have over the next 5 to 7 years on average to make this a viable contract? Does he have to average? I mean, for me, if I'm giving a guy that much money, I want 40 home runs a year. I want 110 RBIs. I want you to hit 300 with a 400 on base percentage. And that's not who he is.
Yeah. And that's the really interesting thing is, like, the money, you're going to sit back and question, like, you got to do, like, if you're going to get paid like Judge and you're going to get paid like Ohtani, you got to perform like Judge and Ohtani. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's as brilliant of a baseball player there is at his age and all that stuff. Like, all you just, everywhere he goes, he seems to win. Like, he just does, right? Yep. Like, you can't question that. And then, but then you sit there and go, like, dude, is is a 280, 41, 109 good enough? The problem is, it probably is now. It is.
But here's the
You
thing,
know?
though. I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, but if you're willing to take 240 and 35 and 100 RBIs, you got Pete Alonso
Yeah.
for about $400 million less. Or
Well,
500 million.
that's my thing, and that's why I keep telling you. I think Peter Alonso is incredibly undervalued, and being told and being basically run out of New York halfway through the year. People are trying to run him out of New York, and I'm looking at this going, dude, what the hell do you expect? What the hell do you think for the Mets? Like, as a Mets fan, who the hell do you think you're going to go get?
Look,
What is available on the free agent market that you don't already have?
I think every Met fan is saying to themselves, it's not just Soto. Soto can't be the be-all, end-all for a team like the Mets. It has to be Soto and Alonso. It has to be Soto and Jesus Christ, the kid from Milwaukee.
Thomas.
Oh, Willie Adames, thank you. Yeah, it can't just be Soto, because if you're getting Soto and you're losing Pete, what the hell have you accomplished? You're standing in the same position.
And then, well, I guess what you're also getting is youth, and you're getting time, and you're getting those years that Pete already had. You're getting those, like, you're about to like double those years, right?
Correct.
So you go, okay, cool. All the best years Pete had, which were what, 18, 9, whatever, 19, 20, 21, 22, you're getting those years coming up, right? And I guess that's where you're sitting there, like, you're paying for those years that you already got, and you're doing a double. But like, you do need more as a team, right? You need more offense, you need more there. Now you need pitching. You need bullpen. You have a lot more needs. So that's why I look at it from the Mets standpoint. Go, cool, you got a bunch of contracts coming off the books, but you need a bunch of contracts to come back on the books and just better deals.
And I guarantee you, Juan Soto is sitting there saying to the Mets or Toronto, hey, okay, you're going to sign me. Are you keeping Pete? Hey, you're going to sign me. Are you keeping Vlad?
Because that's a big one for me going to Toronto for him is, where does, like, cool. I love his. I'd love to play here. 1-2 combination. Him and Vlad basically are judging him with a little bit more like pizzazz.
Yeah.
But I like those big three of Bichette, him and Vladdy is a lot more exciting than whoever, and Judge and Soto.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of.
And with the Yankees, he's going over there. He's probably telling Hal, hey, guess what? I've been with Judge and we didn't win the World Series. So what are you adding in addition to me? If it's the same team as last year, but that didn't do it.
And if I'm the Yankees, I'm sitting there and I have to make other plays. I have to. Like, I find the rotation is in a great place. Rotation is an awesome place. The bullpen, I need a couple arms, but I need a third baseman. I need a first baseman. I need a right fielder. I'm going to need another outfielder, because when Giancarlo Stanton gets hurt, like, they can move to DH. Like they're going to fill in for Judge. That's not going to, like, Stanton's not going to stay healthy. So that they have problems there. You got a great young catcher. I do like your shortstop. I think he needs to continue to grow and have a nice third season. And then you got Chisholm at second base. So there's a lot of stuff to like. But I need those other pieces, because you're no longer you're one of your key competitors, whether it be in the National League with the Mets or the Dodgers, you're right, or anyone else in the American League East is going to get Soto. So you have to sit there and like compete with that. Like, I would build a better team. And then say, okay, I can deal with losing Soto, because if I'm winning baseball games, my team's not going to care. My fan base won't care if I'm winning baseball games.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned. It's funny that you mentioned that the Yankees need a third baseman, because there's somebody who's available.
There's a couple
available.
Golden Rule. Robert Manfred comes out and just is the ultimate troll job, and just pissing off the world, and just lighting up the X sphere, and just every blog and every single baseball pundit now is talking about it, including us. And this is what Robert Manfred is doing, is driving us crazy. The golden batter rule. It's going to change the world. Epic. And everybody's talking about it. James, what is it? And how is this going to fail?
Okay, so the golden batter rule is something that the Savannah Bananas instituted, where a player can, so a team can choose to put any batter they want once per game in any situation they want, and it's not going to mess with the lineup at all. So if it's the bottom of the ninth and it's Mookie Betts up first and then Ohtani, and Ohtani strikes out, you can bring Ohtani back, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I know everybody hates it, but I like it. I like the swagger. I like the pizzazz. You know, you're talking about this comes from the Savannah Bananas. This is a small minor league team in Savannah, Georgia.
They're not minor leaguers.
On worldwide.
They're not minor leaguers. I understand that.
Independent, whatever.
They're not even, yeah, they're an independent team.
They're the Harlem Globetrotters, but regardless, we all know who they are because they've done some pretty cool things. And I kind of like the idea of the golden batter. If you're down 2 in the bottom of the ninth and you have 2 men on, why not be able to bring your best hitter up? It's not going to happen every game, but it's going to be cool when it does happen.
You're crazy. It's going to happen every single game for both teams every time.
Every time. It won't happen in the bottom of the ninth every time.
Not every time, but the eighth will have bases loaded. Right. It's going to happen.
There is one rule that needs to be instituted, however, if they are going to bring the golden batter.
Ghost runner on second.
Nope. The 3 batter minimum for pitchers has to go right out the window, though. You can't give the offense that kind of an advantage.
They won't care. They don't care. Rob Manfred won't care. Okay, here's my opinion on this. I think it's all bull crap. I think this is all just a troll job. I think this is I would like to see on the back end what type of deal Major League Baseball is getting involved with Savannah Bananas. You're starting to throw them in your stadiums. You're starting to have there's a whole lot of crossover right now with Major League Baseball and the Bananas. And it seems to me like a giant troll job and a marketing job of the Bananas, because that's what we're talking about right now is that, the Bananas did this. It's so much fun. It should never happen. I hope it never happens. There's no realistic reason to need this. I think what the Bananas done is not the golden batter rule is not what makes the Bananas fun and exciting. That has nothing to do with it. That's just a unique twist on it to make sure your fans see home runs and base hits and the best batter in the best situation, which I get. That's marketing and that's entertainment. They've done an incredible job of being fan first, and that's what the Bananas are doing. Not this one idea. The problem is it completely now blows away every single stat you've ever had in Major League Baseball history out of the water and this is a core rule change. Adding an inch on every base and only picking off a couple times is not core baseball rule, right? Having to face 3 batters. There are problems Major League Baseball started having that needed to adjust and change in the 3 batter rule. The pitch clock, the bases, like you have to certain pickoff rules. Cool. That is speeding the game up and bringing in more action. When you're just like, cool, Ohtani, let's go. That's changing the game, and that's changing the whole core aspect of the game. If you can't be good enough when Ohtani was hitting, you shouldn't just go, second try. I think this is just a marketing tool and he's just firing people up. Hey, it's December 5th and we're talking about Major League Baseball and we're not talking about Juan Soto necessarily with all of this. Like if Juan Soto had signed, we'd still be talking about golden batter. He has brought relevance to Major League Baseball in December. I give Rob Manfred a lot of credit for throwing a bunch of crap against the wall, seeing what sticks and seeing what creates a conversation. And he goes, we'll see. There's a lot of excitement about it. Yeah, there was excitement when you go to a Bananas game. But that's what the Bananas are. They give you those crazy things. Let that be a banana idea. Fan first should be Major League Baseball too. But don't sacrifice the game. Like, let that be the Globetrotters. The Globetrotters also don't care about traveling, and they don't care about rules, and they throw balls off the other guy's head and then slam dunk it and then hang on the rim and stand up and then celebrate and do a dance show for the crowd. So do the Bananas. Like, what are we going to do? Stop the game in the middle just to do a dance off?
What you think I wouldn't want to see Bryce Harper do a dance off against?
No, I don't think you would want to see Bryce Harper do a dance off. I don't think you care.
I'd actually like to see it. I think it'd be funny. It would be like the end of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but in all reality, I just think it's a troll job. I think it's just trying to get us to talk about it, and I think there might be, I don't know, my conspiracy, my tinfoil hat is saying there's something sparking my ear and saying there's more to do with this than just a random idea he has.
It's possible. You know what would have been cool though if they had this during the time of Barry Bonds. Walk somebody in. Barry Bonds goes right back to the plate. They walk him again to drive someone in.
Right? They would have just that's like Barry Bonds got 2 walks and 2 at bats in the ninth. Right.
And no guys scored because the bases were loaded.
Right. Probably. So let's throw that aside.
Yeah.
Is there a change that you want to see?
No. The only thing I'd like to see is a little more theatrics, meaning when the guy's walking up to the plate, I wouldn't mind if it was sort of like, the WWE where they had walk-up music, where, the kids get really pumped up. Everybody had their own theme song. And I know guys have their own music, but, make it a little more theatrical with, some fireworks. Bring in La Flama Blanca, bring in I'm a Real American with a damn flag over your shoulder and running around. That's what I'd like to see. But
I think that's a great idea. I think actually maybe that's like, obviously that's over exaggerated too much, but like having somebody on the field as the players are walking out, walking with them, announcing with them, and like maybe had some fun stuff like the big moments, and be able to find a balance where the players still can be locked in at the same time, entertain the fans. The game, Major League Baseball has allowed the game to be the entertainment for so long, but things are passing it, right? And so now we go, okay, let's step back a little bit. Where can we find this fun? And they're finding it. They're doing a great job. I think they need to promote the players a lot more. And I think they need to take those big moments and put that on the stage and allow that stage to be what it is for what it is. And sit out there and like, dude, maybe you do an interview with the pitcher right before the big moment. Maybe you do an interview with the hitter as he's walking up to the plate. And you say, all right, what are you doing here? Hey, what do you got? You gonna win this game?
That would just take too long.
But we're also okay with just grabbing a random batter whenever you want, throwing him in there, and then you're out. Now go again. But like, just talking about what you want to do doesn't change the game to me. It just makes you like, I want to be in their head. That's the thing people love, is the mic on the outfielders during plays. During the game, people love it, and they're responding to that like no one's business. I would love to have a mic on the umpire and have that umpire, dude, like that big call, and you just had a fight with Aaron Boone because that's going to happen probably April 4th or whatever, opening day. I want to hear that umpire talking about after that fight what he saw and why Aaron Boone's wrong and why he's right. Like, give it to me for real. Like, yeah, maybe it's just the camera, but like, give me that interaction. Like, I love that. And I think fans dig more of like the player. Give them the player.
The bottom line is we have players with swagger now. You mentioned Jazz Chisholm. Oh my God, would I love to see him with his own walk up and, like pimping as he goes to the plate. Ellie De La Cruz. How much fun would it be if that guy with the dreads is just, doing something really interesting as he gets to the plate? And why can't they have like cool bats? Like, I don't know if you've seen them. I know you have kids that are, of baseball age. They have those bats that look like giant pencils. Why can't they do that in baseball?
Victus bats.
Yeah, that one.
Think I don't know these things. I know all these things. All the kids I coach have these things. Every single one of them. I have to sit there and pump the brakes on having wanting to buy all of them. JD's
how much money have you spent on these things?
The swagger stuff. He wants a little. He doesn't want all that swagger stuff. He wants to be good. And he wants to look good a little bit. But there's some of that swagger is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I just let's have some fun. Let's allow the personal cleats. Let's allow the personal bats. Let's allow some of this stuff. Like, let's throw make nicknames on the back of the jerseys more often. Like I said, one of my favorite things is like for a team to do classic throwback jerseys, not like every now and then, but like for a full month. Like, and like I always said, this one of my favorite things would be like every month of the year have a different throwback jersey, like celebrating generations of the organization. I think that'd be the coolest thing ever. But enough.
Don't forget, there was one very smart man who had a red hat that said, "Make baseball fun again."
Yes, dude, that was a while ago too, right? Right. That was that dude used to also want to be like underage and drinking in Canada.
Dude, this is why I'm a fan of Bryce Harper, even though I'm a Mets fan. I've always liked that dude.
Is there anybody more Philly baseball than Bryce Harper?
In my mind, Mike Schmidt. I
Yeah,
think
well,
Philly
no, I get
baseball.
it historically, but like free agent, like that's a perfect sign. And like immediately you signed him, and he got dirty beard and like got a little rougher and like became a leader. He wasn't just a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I know we haven't talked about this, and we didn't even prepare for this, Alex. Like, not even ready for this. But speaking of the Phillies, they are openly in shopping 3 of their players. I want to get a quick little idea from are openly shopping these. These are out in the open. Where do you stand on these guys?
Um,
And I am
yeah,
gone.
you might get a little something for Nick Castellanos. I don't know how much you're going to get for those guys. Everybody knows that those are the only 3 guys that you want to part with. So I don't know. I mean, I guess the Phillies need to mix it up a little bit, but I just don't know what the hell they're going to do with those guys. Who really wants to take them on? And from what I understand, they want a good amount of, they want good stuff back for them.
Yeah, and that's my hard part with it. They want good stuff back for it, and I know like Castellanos is a little bit. He's 33. He's like, yeah, he's losing it a little bit. He's not quite the same guy, but he still had 23 home runs and 260, 255 batting average. Like he's providing back to you what he was doing back in the day with Cincinnati. Alec Boehm, I'm completely comfortable with this because he's kind of shown you he had a great year this year. That's their value. And Ranger Suarez, I think that's your value. You can get guys for it, but like, what are you trying to get? Dombrowski, like, what are you trying to get? Are you trying to get prospects because you want to get a couple free agents and you need space open? That's my interesting thing with like you got Wheeler and you got Noah, and then it's like, all right, you had some guy like Christopher Sanchez pitched great, but Ranger Suarez was a stud.
Yeah.
Was a stud this year. Like, why would you, unless you have this bigger plan, which sometimes I don't know if Dombrowski has a bigger plan. I think he looks at like you sign him and you're like, he's like Major League, like World Series right now, let's go. And then he gets you there, and then you're like 3 years later, you're like, now what? Like, where do we go? But he's done something here with the Phillies that he hasn't done in the past. Is he hasn't sold out. He hasn't sold out. Like he still has his core, and he hasn't like traded all the prospects for like one guy.
Right.
This is the interesting thing. I mean, he might be playing a little different game than he did with Detroit and he did with the Red Sox. He's actually like not trading like all these prospects. Like he's actually trading like the guys that are like okay.
Sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah. I just don't know what they're going to do with that team. It just doesn't. It's a weird situation to be in right now because they've shown that they're not good enough to get over the top, but they're so good that if you blow it up, you're going to take a step back.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is bullpen, and they really failed in the offseason last year. And then they go to like the trade deadline, and they're like just like trading for other people's crap. They're like trading crap for crap in the bullpen, and I'm like, what are we doing here?
But that's the volatility of relievers, though, because
but those guys weren't that good the year before either. That's the problem. Is like
look
they
at a
didn't
guy
have
like
a closer. Their closer was Kimbrel, and you already know he was a failure going into the bullpen as a closer towards the end of the year. He had shown you that multiple times, and they still went into the year without a bona fide closer. And like they went in with a couple guys that were good, but like they were banking on Kerkering being like the greatest guy of all time. And you're like, dude, this guy had like 10 days in the big leagues before the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe pump the brakes and maybe go out there and go get us a couple salty vets that know how to bring in a championship. And they just didn't do that. They have a complete team except for that bullpen. And I'm still looking at it going, you have a complete team and you didn't lose anything in rotation. You didn't lose anything in your lineup. Like, think about that. They didn't lose anybody. They haven't lost anybody to free agency that matters.
Yeah.
Nobody. No one else can say that anywhere across Major League Baseball. They have no questions except for their bullpen. And it's like, why haven't you signed everybody? So literally signed everybody.
How did they not get Aroldis Chapman?
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to like?
Alvarado
was better?
Yeah.
Like,
weird.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They got pieces. They have some guys that could do some stuff, but like, I'm just looking at this team going like, dude, you've got like one question.
Yeah.
One. Like, it's not your lineup. Your lineup's great. Not your rotation. Your rotation's awesome. Like, one of the best in baseball, and like literally number 2 Cy Young winner, and like Wheeler's amazing, Nola's amazing. You just have a bullpen that sucks, and it continues to suck. Speaking of a team that sucks, Nolan Arenado. They are marketing Nolan Arenado. They are putting him out there. It's hilarious. The Rockies are still paying some of his contract.
Some of it.
What do you do with Nolan Arenado if you're the Cardinals? Do you move him? I mean, where is this team even going? You know, Goldschmidt's out on the market. What do you do? I mean, you get rid of him. Like, do you have anybody?
Yeah, they're trying to blow it up. I think it's kind of one of those situations where, hey, we've got these veterans. They're not what they were. They were supposed to be able to lead us to a World Series, but they're a little long in the tooth now. Let's get what we can for them. We're going to suffer for a couple of years, but if we can get the right prospects, it'll work out well for us. I look at Nolan Arenado, and I just see New York Yankees all over the place.
Right?
He just makes so much sense with what Brian Cashman has done. Why don't you just call him Anthony Rizzo Part 2?
Oh, easy one. That one, a lot better. At their peaks, about the same, but he has proven to be much better overall.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. But he's getting old. He's getting injured. His numbers aren't what they are. So that's a perfect Yankee. He's just like Anthony Rizzo in that way.
God, I think even like, if you just put him over, like, he had a very disappointing year compared to what he's done in the past. Mm-hmm. Like 16 home runs, 272 average is still fine, which is still good. But like, production-wise, this is not the same as he's been in the past. I think this is streaming Yankees all over it. I think this would be absolutely lost us both, James. But he's still owed $74 million by the Cardinals. So I think this is a perfect place for them to be able to eat a lot of money, not have to give up a whole lot of prospects. I don't know if there's a lot of teams out there that are going to go be dying for him, knowing they're going to end up having to give up prospects and pay some money.
I think it all depends on how much money they're going to eat. If they're going to eat a good amount of money, they're going to get some top-tier prospects. If they're not, somebody will just give them crap, and they'll say, okay, thank you very much for taking on this contract.
Yeah, and I think that's where the Yankees play. I think that's the Yankees play in this, is like, hi, like we 74 million done. Like, and then you sit there and you look at Juan Soto and you go, all right, now look. Like, that's now I'm looking at that Yankee team going, ooh, Nolan Arenado now, and now you got Soto and Wright. Then you just need give me a first baseman, give me Christian Walker, give me Goldschmidt, dude. Bring in Goldschmidt. You're not gonna have to pay crazy money, and it's not gonna be a long-term deal for either one of those guys.
No,
because neither one of them can play that long. You give me a 2-year, 3-year deal for Walker, for Goldie, and then you knock on Soto's door and be like, do you want to be a part of this or not? Because if not, I'm gonna go get Santander, and he's 40 home runs, might be better than this team might be better than what you gave us.
And it makes all the sense in the world to get, I don't think it's going to happen where they would get Arenado and Goldschmidt. But if you did do that, now all of a sudden you've got a 2-year window, if you got Soto back, where you have Judge at his peak and Arenado and Goldschmidt on the downside of their peak, but still adequate ball players. And you got Soto. That would be an interesting team.
Very interesting team. I mean, a lot of power-driven, slow guys right in the middle of that lineup. You had Stanton in the middle of that too. Like, let's not forget, like, that lineup immediately becomes Soto, Judge, Arenado, Goldschmidt, Stanton. Bro, dude, you're talking about Yankees of the late 90s type of thing. Like, I don't want to face that team. I don't want to see them ever. Now, maybe a lot of punch-outs and again, slow. But you're walking in the Yankee Stadium every day going, ooh, like, who's going to hit the back of the facade today?
But that's a very unathletic team.
Very unathletic team. Good enough on defense. Arenado's still great at third. Goldschmidt's very, very, very good first baseman. Very undervalued at first base. Soto can play right field with the very best of them. It's just when you get on the bases, it's going to be get them on, get them over, get them in. It's not going to be station to station, guys. But station to station with a double and a home run mixed in there makes station to station really easy. When
a blast.
Every batter you face is like, damn, Like this might be gone. Like, and they're good, and they're not just like a 200 hitter with 40. They're 250 hitters, 260 hitters with 40. And that
Listen,
might
give
be
me 260
scary.
with 28 for each of them, and you're good.
Dude, you're over it, and now you're looking. You're not only going into playoffs going, God, I hope Aaron Judge is good. You're going, we're good. Like,
Yeah.
we're fine. Like, it's going to take a massive collapse. Now I go man for man. You're better than the Dodgers.
Yeah. The only problem is you still have Aaron Boone as your manager.
Right? Well, he manages the lineup just fine. It's just not the bullpen and the pitching rotation. And that's the scary part of it.
Not a big deal with baseball, though, the bullpen and the rotation. You don't need to manage them. That's just unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. James, before we leave baseball, I do want to get your idea on the Blake Snell signing and how this plays out. Does this change the rest of the free agent market with the Dodgers obviously signing Blake Snell, adding another Cy Young arm to what they have? But does this change their ability to sign other players? Do you think that really affected them signing Soto?
No, I think they just don't care. I think they're going to get anybody that they want. It's out of control. Really,
Yeah.
I didn't understand the Blake Snell signing. I would have waited to see if I could get Sasaki. That was the one thing. It was a little early for me because they probably had a very good chance of getting Sasaki. Now you're getting Glass now back. You're getting Ohtani back. Like, I didn't think there was a reason to sign Blake Snell. I thought they were okay. And I also found it interesting, since we're talking about the Dodgers, that they didn't even give Walker Buehler the qualifying offer because rumor has it that he would have taken the qualifying offer.
I don't know. I think he might have taken it, but again, I think he's out there shopping and saying, I can get 3 years. I can get a 5-year contract. It might not, or I can get a Blake Snell 2024 type contract, right? Where he's signing with the Giants with a good amount of money for year one, a lot of money behind it, but then with an out, but a little lesser, right? You can't be Blake Snell when you haven't done Blake Snell type of things. And so when you sit there and I think that's going to be the new norm for guys like that, saying, give me a 3-year contract, give me a 1-year out, good enough, good money for both of us. We'll be happy with it. If I'm okay, I'm staying. But if I'm great, I'm going to go back on the market. And I think a lot of teams will go, sure, I'll take a risk on it.
I know we didn't discuss this, but speaking of 3-year contract, you see who got a 3-year contract today?
Luis Severino, the highest paid player in Sacramento A's history.
Yep. What do you get? Like 3 years, 60 million, something like that. 63,
something like that. What's funny was I went on air this morning with your boy Jason Page, and I was saying, and he asked me, Luis Severino, how much? I said 3 years. And I said 3 years, good money, but not great money. I think that's good money for him. Great year this year with the Mets. Awesome year. Mets are going to miss his production. I don't think the Mets are going to miss him in the idea of we don't know what we're going to get. Right. Is it going to be 23 or 24? And what it is, what are you going to get? And I think you're going to see I think you're going to see a drop and an increase in how well he does. It's weird, I know. Being out on the West Coast, I think he's going to pitch a little bit better. At the same time, I don't think it's going to be the same level. I think you're going to see it catch up to him. And then overall at the end of the year, he's going to be struggling, but he's going to be good early on. I don't know what's like going to be pitching in a minor league ballpark again. Out him, ball flies in Sacramento a little bit. It's not crazy, but it flies a little bit. I just good for Oakland, good for Sacramento. They're making a move. Great for Luis Severino. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's interesting. I'll tell you this though. Your boy Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach with the Mets, he made some guys a lot of money this year. He made Manaea a lot of money. Severino a lot of money.
Yes, he did a great job, man. I love the job he's doing out there. I think he's doing a wonderful job. What's so funny is I wouldn't have ever predicted it when I was playing with him, but he's become a really good pitching coach. But you're looking at this right now. You got Senga, Montas. And then you get really thin, David Peterson, Paul Blackburn, Tyler McGill.
We'll see. We'll see.
If I'm the Mets, I'm out there right now. I'm signing guys. I'm sorry. You have to be. Don't not wait. for Soto. This is what I hate about teams. Like there's free agents out there. They might be wanting too much money. You have to overpay because you're not going to be able to compete with the Dodgers of the world. Like someone offering you the same amount of money to go to Tampa. Well, maybe not this year, but normally Tampa or New York Mets. I'm going to Tampa without even thinking about it. I'm Tampa because you're going to become the best version of yourself ever and walk back out in the market and be an incredible pitcher and get a lot more money. Like the Mets, like good, but you become great down there. So like for me, the Mets to get guys, they have to overpay because you're also looking at this team going, like, how are we going to win these baseball games right now? Yeah. So
let's see. We got John K on the comment saying the Yankees struggling Game 5 versus the Dodgers, and then he said Berrios 5-year contract.
Berrios, that's where we're going. That's where for the Yankees. Like for the Yankees signing or Dodgers? Who?
I think for the Yankees.
Yankees signing Berrios. Interesting. I'm looking at that Yankees rotation and just they're in such a sweet spot right now. Right, like if you got to look at this in all reality, Garrett Cole, Rendon, Schmidt, you do have Stroman and Heel. Like you're in a great spot right now.
Stroman's a loser.
Stroman is a loser.
Couldn't even make it onto the roster for the first round.
I know. To me, it's not a problem. Guys don't make the roster for the first round. Not everybody does. It's impossible to do because it's how the roster is constructed. Starting pitchers don't make it. And a lot of great starting pitchers haven't made the playoff rosters. At the same time, don't walk in and talking how much you talk and celebrating how much you celebrate and pimping how much you pimp, and then not make it. And I don't know. He probably had a bunch of excuses for it.
Listen, I've said it before with him. Don't act like an ace unless you're an ace. He acts like an ace. He talks like an ace, but he ain't an ace.
You ain't pitching like it. James.
Yes, sir.
I know how much you just love this college football. The playoffs are coming, James. Dude, I'm digging this. I love this stuff. I went to, a couple weeks ago, I went out to Minnesota and I saw Penn State play the Golden Gophers of Minnesota, which was awesome. They're well known for trolling teams and putting fun stuff up on the scoreboard and using memes and using like the funny, like appropriate means, like to like make fun of teams. It was such a fun experience, but I am a big believer in the college football playoffs. I think they've needed this for years. What are your thoughts on college football playoffs, James?
Nah, I don't understand college football. I guess that's a New York thing because we have 2 of every professional sport. But I look right now. Okay, you have Arizona State.
Rutgers is your college team is the problem.
Yeah, Rutgers, Syracuse. I mean, we got trash over here. Let's call it is. But you look at Arizona State. They're 10-2, and they're ranked 15th. But you have Alabama, who's 9-3, and they're ranked 11. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. I know it's because you compete against different levels, but if you're all, NCAA, Division I, then shouldn't it all count for the same? The idea that it's so arbitrary on who is in the top 10 because somebody decides that another team is better. I don't like it.
I'm gonna break it down for you a little bit like this. Okay. 1, do you know how the playoff system is working, how it's designed? I can break it down pretty easy for you.
What is it? Like the top 8 teams?
Top 12.
Top 12.
So
okay.
Top 12 teams make the college football playoffs, which is cool. It's the first year they're doing it. They've been doing it to 4. The problem is a lot of times there's like a 5th team and 6th team that you're like, dude, those probably deserve better, type of thing. Arguments happen, but a lot less when you're worried about 12 and 13 than when you're worried about 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Top 12 make it, but we have 4 conferences that are the Power 4, right? SEC, ACC, Big 10, and Big 12. If you win one of those conferences, you're automatic in. Okay?
Yeah, I get that part.
Now, if you win one of those conferences and you're in the top 12 ranking, you automatically get a bye. So you move to the semifinals of your bracket, right? So the other 8 teams now have to play you guys. Okay?
Again, already it's too complicated.
It's complicated, but that's what you do when you have 12. You have to make it a little like somebody gets a bye, and it's like you won your conference because you had to play an extra game. So you won your conference. Now you get a bye and a home game. So I'm cool with it. I'm totally fine with it. The reason Arizona State is ranked 15 versus having them in the top 12 is that they have to play. They're playing into the Big 12 championship game. So if they win the Big 12 championship game, which they're favored and they probably will, they'll probably blow it out, is that they're automatically in. So they move into it doesn't matter if they're out of the top 12, they're in. So they push somebody out. The reason Alabama is 11 and not 12, this is my problem. This is my tinfoil hat. The reason they're 11 and not 12 is because if they were 12 and ASU wins what they're predicted to, then Alabama would get bumped out. Now at 11, they won't get bumped out. They'll stay within the top 12. So now you still have the marketing monster of Alabama, the travel, like the fans, all that stuff. You still got to put them on a national game, and people are going to pay attention because it's still Alabama. That's them playing the game. And at the same time, they're borderline deserve it. They deserve it more than out Miami. That's the thing about Miami's couple losses are bad to bad teams. Alabama's losses are at least to like some competitive teams, like really competitive teams. And that's the difference.
But that's so dumb. It's like saying, well, you know what? The Yankees, because they play in the AL East, they play better competition, so they should get in the playoffs over the Cleveland Guardians because the Guardians don't play anybody in the Central. What the? Come on. Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's how it works in the basketball, right? That's how it works in all NCAA sports.
But that's why I hate the NCAA, because it's complete. It's not. I don't know.
Well, I would say this: it is a team like Georgia has 2 losses, but both losses have been to teams within like the top 5, right? Like Penn State's loss was to number 6 Ohio State, who at the time was number 2. Ohio State's loss, they've got 2 losses. One of them was to the number 1 team in the country, and the other one was to Michigan, which is just a fluke thing. That's not normal. And so it's like it does matter when you only play 12 games. It matters who you play. And like Indiana doesn't have a win against a ranked team. You know, it's like stuff like that. Like they've won against nobody. Good team. They're a great team, but like that's where you have weird thing. Now this bothers me. Boise State. Okay, Boise State. They're number 10. Mm-hmm. They're 10-1 or 11-1. Do you know who that loss was to?
The New York Rangers.
Oregon. The number 1 team in the country, they lost to them by 3. Right? So they should like legitimately be ranked like 3 in the country, 2 in the country. Like they competed on such a high level where like a team like, again, you brought them up, like Alabama can't beat any of these teams. They've already lost to them. Like how many chances do you get against the same teams to prove you're not good?
Again, but it's because of the marketing machine. So now I have to watch something. I'm not going to watch it, but fans have to watch.
Dude, this is a monster. This will be bigger than the NFL playoffs. This is bigger.
I don't know anything about the NFL playoffs. I'm a Jets fan.
That's true. That's fact. But I think this is an incredible thing that they're doing. I think it's going to be an absolute monster of a deal, and that they're now giving these teams home games. Dude, like you just created monsters of games.
It's so funny. I mean, I love the fact that the rest of the country really cares about this, but in New York, oh my God, nobody gives a rat's butt.
And that's one of their biggest problems is like they need to pump money into like Rutgers and make them good. Because if they pump money into Rutgers, made it good, dude, you would see a turn immediately because it's so much more exciting than the NFL, than Major League Baseball, than hockey, than anything. There's so much more. It matters to you more because you're not just rooting for them. Like, James, have you ever been a part of the Jets organization?
No.
But if you went to Rutgers, are you a part of the Rutgers like group?
Athletic organization? No.
No, but you're part of the team. It still doesn't matter. You wore the shirt. You went there. You went to school. They accepted you. You got a degree from there. So it matters to you more. Like, yeah, you grew up a Jets fan, but at the end of the day, like you're not actually part of it. That's the difference. Like these schools, you're really a part of it. And that's where they need to play on that more. Like this matters to you more because this isn't just like a major league team saying, "Hey, look at me. Like I spent $1 billion on this offseason, and yet you've never have anything to do with it minus going to games." Where, dude, you were a student there. Like you wear it and it matters.
Yeah, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm never gonna like college. It's funny because one of my first jobs in broadcasting was being the on-site producer for one of the great college football personalities in terms of broadcasters, Tim Brando, and he tried so hard to pump college football into my head. Happened. I can't tell you how many wonderful people in the world of college football that I met. Spencer Tillman, just wonderful people, and I just couldn't get into it. So sorry, pal, you're not going to be the one to get me into it.
Well, I'm sorry for you. You are missing out on that, and so that's God. It's a tough one because it's so fun, man. It's so fun that when you're sitting there watching it and like it matters to you. Did you see? I do got to bring this up in the Buffalo game, in the NFL game. Did you see? Did you?
Well, hold on a second.
What?
Because this brings us up to a new segment.
Okay, go for it. You handle it. You take it. You run with it, brother.
All right. This is now our top 3 WTF moments of the week.
What does WTF stand for?
Excuse me?
What does WTF stand for?
What the F?
What the F?
Yeah. So, what the F happened in that Buffalo game? Alex, roll the film. There we go. So then we see Josh Allen toss it and then get it right back and then go into the end zone for a touchdown. So he threw the pass and then he caught a pass for a touchdown, same play. And because I'm not playing fantasy football this year, I didn't even realize this. But David, what happened in fantasy football?
Well, the beautiful part of this is when he throws that pass, right? So it's a pass, and then the flip, he gets it back. So technically, Josh Allen threw a touchdown and received a touchdown. So on that one play, he got 12 points plus the reception and the yards and all that stuff. It is absolutely incredible from a fantasy football standpoint. This is amazing. It's amazing, and I've never seen anything like this. Because it on so many levels, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know what you do with it. I don't know how you look at this. And like, it's amazing to me that they allowed it to be a passing and a receiving touchdown. And I love it. I love everything about it. I remember watching the play, and all the time you're watching these type of plays and going, dude, just like toss the ball back to the quarterback, like toss it to the running back. He's right there. And you're like, and then immediately no, don't do that. Don't do that. But they pulled it off with absolute perfection.
That was the same kind of crap that me and my friends used to pull off on Show Road when we would play pickup football games, where we would just right there in the snow, throw it forward, bring it back to my buddy Tommy. Tommy goes in for the touchdown, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling fool.
Oh, it's great. It's so much fun. And like, yeah, you always do in the backfield, like when you're just having fun. But if they would have picked up the fumble, it wouldn't have really mattered to you. These matter, right? Like this actually matters. If he screws it up and the guy catches it and runs it back for a 6, that actually matters.
All right. Our number 2 WTF moment of the week is a college football controversy. And there it is. UNC, NC State, a lot of different teams had the same problem this past weekend. Guys trying to plant the flag and then starting fights. Ards, I'm going to let you take this away because I don't know what the hell this is all about because it's college football and I don't care.
Yes, rivalry week. So all these rivals are playing each other, right? UNC, North Carolina versus North Carolina State. It happened at Arizona State, Michigan, Ohio State was a big one. I know there's a couple other ones where it happened. And if you notice a couple things, trend there, it's when the visitor team at the home, like beats the home team at their stadium, right? That's kind of like the trend we're seeing. The problem is, like, watch North Carolina, watch UNC. They're fighting their butt off, and they're so mad about these guys planting the flag, or Arizona State put in like the trident or whatever it is, the pitchfork into the ground, and like Ohio State was losing their mind over Michigan planting the flag in the center of the field. Like, this is yours, guys. You won the game. You earned it. Like, to the victors go the spoils. If you want to plant your flag, plant your flag. Like, I have a problem with all these teams being so mad about it. And, oh my God, they're planting that flag. I can't believe they're doing this. That's so disrespectful. Well, they just whooped your ass, right? Like, they beat your ass, and now you're fighting about a flag. You're fighting harder about a flag than you did about the actual game. Okay. Win the game. If you don't like it, play harder. If you don't like it, win. Don't bitch to me when you get your ass kicked on your own field in front of your own fans, especially Ohio State. Everything was on the line for them. Number one in the country is on the line. Going to Big Ten championship is on the line. And then you lose, and then you're bitching and whining and crying. Like, one of their guys was crying. He lost 4 times in a row to Michigan now. Don't be a little bitch. Don't cry.
Sorry, don't agree with you. And I'll tell you why. Yes, I lost the game. That's cool.
Because you never competed.
Oh, I competed, baby. I'm the finest Greek softball player there is.
Right.
No, but in all honesty, if I lose a game, okay, that's cool. But you're going to come to my house and you're going to plant your flag? Nah, you're not leaving my stadium alive if you're going to try to pull that.
I just left whooping your ass. I get to do whatever I want. That's my problem with this. I just whooped your ass on your field in front of your fans, in front of your girlfriends and your mom and your dad. They got to go home and listen to you cry about your loss.
Wait, I'm just curious. Hold on. Back it up 1 second. In front of my girlfriends? How many do I have? Like, do you have multiple football players?
Of course. I'm talking about your team. I just whooped your ass in front of them. Like, go worry about yourself. Go worry about winning the game. That's to me, and that's my thing. It's like, that's the same as the Dodgers jumping in the Diamondbacks pool. If you don't like it, win. If you don't want to, don't be a little bitch and cry about losing. And, oh, they disrespected me. Well, they punched you in the face already, and you didn't get up. They get to teabag you all they want. Like, I'm sorry, that's the in the movie Friday, and you got to knock the fuck out. Like, sorry, you lose your wallet. Like
again, it's, this is the difference between me and you. I don't understand this college football crap. Don't want to understand this.
It's the same. I mean, it happens in all sports, right? Like, it just happens. Like, I'm sorry. Like if I win a championship on your field, I'm holding the trophy in the middle of your thing and holding it up saying, suck my dick.
Yeah, that's a championship. That is not just a random game.
What these are. But a lot of these are traditions that go back 100 years, and they actually have trophies for these. And they give the trophy back and forth to who wins. So they actually matter in these states. You're that champion. And they do this in soccer in England all the time when they have set up rivals where they have cups. They call them derbies, right? So you win that. Like, that's your deal. Like, you hold that thing right in the middle of the field. Like, suck it.
No, but that's like the same thing that they have for the NFL on Fox. That stupid turkey trophy. I'm gonna be proud that I won that stupid turkey trophy.
A little different. It's not quite the same thing. It hasn't lasted 100 years. If 2 teams played on Fox for the last 100 years, yeah, now the trophy matters a little bit.
Well, Detroit's been playing on Thanksgiving on Fox for the last 100 years. It seems like,
but they can't win until like the last 2 years.
All right, last WTF moment involves a New York Jet and his former girlfriend. Oh boy, you want to take this one?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, this what's this girl's name? Leah, Drea Michelle. Okay, Drea Michelle is Tyrod Taylor's ex-girlfriend. Apparently, she has kids with him, has kids with another a basketball player, and Tyrod Taylor had her evicted from a house that he bought, which she's claiming, well, we made a deal that I'm going to stay there and I'm going to buy the house, and any money I put in goes towards the well, yeah, I'm sure you made that decision when you guys were together. You're not together anymore. That doesn't count. There's no verbal contracts when you're together. Does not count when you break up. I said that I wanted to move to Arizona, and my now ex-fiance, She can't come and say, well, we said that we're going to buy this house in Arizona, so if you buy it, then it's partially mine. No, we said that crap when we were together. We're not together anymore. You don't have any right to it. And this girl is just a jock sniffer. How many different guys is she going to bed, that are in the sports world?
I don't know about that, but she is not unattractive. Let me put it that way. She's not bad. You can just keep that photo up there for about 5 more minutes. No, I don't like anything about it. I'm sorry. That's one of the you're playing, you're dating somebody. When you're dating them, you get to live the life. When you're not, you got to figure out everything after that. I'm sorry about it. Like, I got nothing against you. I don't know anything about you. She could be a great person. Could be an incredible person. Like, awesome.
I doubt it.
Maybe not. And he might be a great person or a bad person. I don't know. But at the end of the day,
how good could he be as a
house? Get out of his house. Like, it's not your house. He could have said anything he wanted. Put that thing on paper. Learn from other people's past mistakes. We're all too nice, and we don't want to anger people. Put it on paper.
No, you're too nice. I'm not too nice. I'll tell you right now. I would have buried her in the desert if it was me. She's dating Rockets guard Jalen Green. That dude don't have any money. He don't have a house. Live in his house.
Go live in his house. Go get out. Get out.
Be gone.
She gone. No, I wouldn't mind watching her leave, though. Anyways.
Well, you know what? We gone.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Closers. Again, brought to you by Man Cave Sports. Let us know what you thought of WTF, what you thought of the show. I know we talked a lot about Juan Soto today. Not bad. Not the worst topic in the world. But let us know what you thought of the show. Leave a comment, like it, subscribe. Obviously, you get better content when you subscribe to the show, when you like it. Again, let us know what you think. Let me know. Let James know why he's wrong, that Juan Soto is not going to sign with the Mets, and that James is always wrong about everything, and I'm right. But no, let us know where you think Juan Soto is going to go. What do you think of what the Dodgers are doing? Are they going to be able to sustain this? Do you think Sacramento is going to make a move for all the big free agents this year?
Guys, tell me why college football is good, please. Someone explain this to me. And if you're from New York and you like college football, I'm begging you to put something in the comments, because I don't get it. I'm not going to get it.
I'm going to take James to a college football game sometime. We'll go to Penn State whiteout, and he will change his mind.
No, okay. That'll happen, I'm sure.
110,000 of my best friends and you.
110,000?
Yeah. 110,000 people.
If we can get all of them to watch the show, that would be good.
110,000. We'll do it we'll do it at halftime, right in the middle of the field.
Yes,
and during the whiteout game, because Fox won't matter. Fox won't care about it. So, but make sure you get it out there and tell everybody about it. Again, look at any podcasts. If you want to be anywhere you want find your podcast, you will find our beautiful voices, or get on here on YouTube and look at our beautiful faces. But for James, I am the DA. Thank you for watching.